I left the fans open. I didn't realize that. Close them bad boys. Now if we measure from where the ceiling is going to start over right here and measure over the width of the plywood, 48 inches, it kind of comes in line directly with this fan. So what we need to do is build a frame around where the fan is going to go, and then we need to build a frame across that will line up with the end of the panel. So we'll build that, and then we'll go along the ceiling, and the next spot that the 48 inches, I believe it is around here, we'll have to build another support panel there as well, so that the panel can attach to the ceiling. So here is the frame that I built that's going to go around this plastic trim piece for the Max Air fan. Here's what it looks like up top, and I just need to build these side pieces so that I can secure it. So here is the whole frame built, and after a little finagling I finally got it in the place that I need it to be. So I was able to screw it up and finally put it in place so that we were able to start securing the panels. So here's what it looks like fully installed in the ceiling before the panels go up. Alright, so the last thing that we need to do before putting the ceiling, well hopefully, because the ceiling's going up and we can't really take it down, is put an HDMI cable from the side of the cabinet here through the ceiling over to where the TV is going to be. So, like I said, hopefully that's the last thing, because once the ceiling's up, the ceiling's up. So here's me just measuring where I want the light holes to be on the panels that we're going to put in the ceiling or screw into the ceiling itself. After I got all of the measurements, I was able to transfer those measurements over to the panels that we cut out for the ceiling. That was just about measuring and cutting the panels to the size that we needed. And I then used a 2.5-inch drill saw to drill the holes out for the lights.
You went through that thing so quick!
Yeah, because it's made of plastic. So here is us taking down the lights before we started putting the first panel in. Here is us putting the first panel up. We needed both of our hands to put it up and to be able to secure it and screw it into the place that it needed to be. So here is the first panel up with the wires coming through. We made sure that we found all the wires before we put the panel up, because otherwise we'd have to take it down to fish those wires through. Here is the second panel up, and the panels at first, I just secured them with a finish nail gun just so they were up there, and then afterwards I was able to screw them all into place. The next panels that I put up, I'm going to make sure that I use some liquid nails so that they are secured to the ceiling. Alright, so we have the two panels up, that panel on this panel, and the next thing we want to do is just put tape along the cabinet so that when we spray the... You chew so loud? So that when we put or spray the adhesive, it doesn't get on the cabinets. So we're going to do that right now, and then we can start spraying and applying the ceiling fabric. Here's us just putting the tape around the cabinets so that we don't get any excess glue or spray adhesive on the cabinets themselves. Here's the felt that we're going to use, and then here is the roll of white vinyl that we're going to use. The first thing we need to do was measure the actual dimensions plus an extra few inches so we had an overhang and some room to play with. We were able to just cut the fabric, the vinyl, and cut the felt to the length that we needed, and then we could bring them over to the bus to start securing them and gluing them to the ceiling. So here is just us spraying the adhesive. We had to spray it on the ceiling itself and then on the fabric that we were using. We used both of us to start putting it up. We put it up 1/2 at a time so that we were able to glue and spray both sides of the fabric and the ceiling itself as well. So after we got the 1/2 up, we secured the other half and started cutting out all the holes for the lights and then the vent for the air to come through. And here is us putting the vinyl up finally. We needed 2 people, and we wore these gloves to make sure that we didn't get the vinyl dirty from our hands at all because it was white, and yeah, we just didn't want it dirty. Making sure that we are using our hands to smooth it out so that there's no wrinkles in the vinyl itself while we're putting it up on the ceiling. After it's up, we were able to trim all the excess stuff that we didn't need, as well as the holes for the lights and the vent. So here I am getting the wires pulled through for one of the lights. The lights just go up, they attach to these clips that I have, and then from there it's just got 2 springs on both sides of the light that attach itself and pull it to the ceiling. After we put the lights up, we had to make sure that we put the correct plastic vent in, and after securing it, we were able to put the cover on top of the vinyl ceiling. Now that that section in the front is up, we can move on to this section here. We just have to cut out the other side of this air fan opening. We have a light there, and then we have the vent for the AC and heat. So, taped up there, we taped 2 lines there and there. So we could start spraying this panel itself and spray the felt that's gonna go on beforehand. So here I am putting the second piece of felt and vinyl on the ceiling, just making sure I sprayed enough glue or adhesive on the actual ceiling itself before I started putting the felt up. And after I had enough, I made sure I put the felt up so that it had enough time to tack dry so that it was fully secured on the ceiling. So this is what the ceiling looks like. We're going to be putting a trim piece. It's hard to see from here, but there's a seam right there. And then there's a seam on that side right there, you can see. Those 2 pieces are going to get trim, as well as trim all along the top. And then there'll be trim to transition into this piece. But as you can see, the ceiling is good. I'll turn the lights on so I can show you. So that's what it looks like with the lights on. So sometimes I don't know how to end these videos, but we have most of the ceiling up. I'm gonna finish the rest of the ceiling going back towards the bedroom during this week. And yeah, it's pretty much what I wanted to accomplish. Started to put the ceiling up, made a lot of progress. I think it looks great, and just gotta add some trim here and there. But other than that, I think it's a success. So I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next video.